Oh, wait. On restream. What's going on? Let me record it. Be nice to hit record. Perfect. Automatic, please upgrade now. I do have the record option. I do have a record option. I just don't know why it didn't click record automatically. Yeah, so it lets me stream it live, mirror camera. I don't see myself here. Boom, there we go. All right. Who's on? I love you guys. Thank you. First question is, when are you going to see me in Chico? One day. Lots of love to you. Maybe for graduation. All right. So what's up, guys? Thanks so much for logging in. I do have a question to go right away. So I'm going to actually just lubricate the space by starting with the question, and then we can go right into it. And then I'm going to also shoot an episode of my Food and Philosophy podcast afterwards, which you're welcome to stay for. Normally they're 30 to 40. So you get a bonus 30 to 45 minutes. All right. Where's the question? So first question from Tanner. Ike, I'm losing steam, depressed, want to. Let me set the frame. Looks like he owns a pizza shop. I'm not going to say the name of the pizza shop. I think he only has one. It didn't say multiple locations, but he says he got a pizza shop. Ike, I'm losing steam, depressed, want to sell it all and be done with it. How do you get out of those funks? He actually asked my questions, so I'll read the whole thing and I'll go through it. It's hard to find good people who care as much as I do. Sometimes it feels like one step forward and two steps backwards. I had to fire my right-hand man last night, who's been with me the entire time of the company. It's been around 3.5 years, and it feels like starting over. Between running the business and making sure everything still operates smoothly, I just feel like I'm starting from square one again, just stressed, depressed, and don't know if I want to do it anymore. When I look at your success in multiple locations, I know you must have been in my shoes a time or two. Ultimately, I know the answer to my question, but maybe there's something you know that I don't. Actually, that's great that he said that, because I don't know anything that you don't know other than if I did it and then found out the answers. Like, I don't have a magic wand for being successful with my restaurants. Pretty similar business to him. And so I started the first day, I sold freaking zero sandwiches. And the second day, which was a week later, because I was also depressed and I didn't know what the hell I was going to do, I went outside. I was like, okay, I'm going to do something different than I did on the first day, which is the first day I was like, I'm open. It's Halloween. I'm going to stand inside and people are going to walk by and go, wow, sandwich shop. I'm hungry, and walk in. I didn't know that doesn't work until I did it, and it didn't work. So I would never do that again. I would never just be like, hey, I'm just going to stand inside my business and hope people can come. And the thing with that I can learn from is that now when I open up new stores, I don't just stand inside the store hoping that people show up. We market. We tell people, hey, first 100 people will get a free cent. We do some stuff so other people can do the buzz, or the newspaper can do the buzz, or basically so we can market outside of, hey, I'm food, come eat me. Because even now with reviews and social media, the review, if you first open and you Google something or whatever your search engine of choice is to find something to eat, or anything, you're not gonna pop up if you are brand new. So you got to do some stuff to get people to come in. So step one is only knew what to do because I did it and it didn't work, or I did it and it did work. I have ideas of what to do and best practices moving forward. So, like Tanner says at the end of his question, he knows what the answers are, but maybe there's something that I know that he doesn't. So we're always our own guru. If you ask a question from you just asking the question, the answer's usually gonna pop up. Now, specifically to the food business, he asked. So I'll go to the food and I'll go back to the depressed part and how to answer that. He asked, "It's hard to find good people who care as much as I do sometimes, and it feels like one step forward and two step backwards." When I had one Ike's, I mean, heck, I probably did it today too, but back when, definitely when I only had one Ike's, if people were doing it wrong, it would light freaking fury from inside of me. I would think, oh my gosh, what is going on? These people, like, it was such a primal rage on the inside that it had to be me knowing about myself, but also about humans. It's not a, hey, you messed up, I'm gonna freaking like literally want to choke somebody. That's not a, what do you call it? That's not a appropriate feeling to even have. So asking myself, it's for me, it was, oh, I because I've been homeless before and I had a previous business before and it went out of business and I had to sell my house and I'd sell my car and I basically had the worst, well, it wasn't probably the worst 9 months of my life, but it was a shitty 9 months where I didn't have food and I didn't know when I was going to eat next, and I basically had to hustle like literally to eat. And and I thought, well, it could be part of that. Like, I'm afraid you're gonna mess up, and then I'm gonna go out of business tomorrow. Like my previous business was doing really, really, really well, like 250 to 300K a year, back in like the early 2000s, late 90s. So like a lot of money, even in a place like San Francisco, and then to having to sell my house and sell my car. This was in two. This was I became homeless 2004. Started that business 1999 to 2004, and in 2004 I closed my business and then ended up living on like $3 a day, like $100 a month on food and groceries from the. It was a liquor store, so I had groceries on the shelf, but all the power was turned off, so all the expired or perishable goods I ate really fast, or I passed out and handed them out to people. Like, there was a lot of homeless people out where I was too, and so I fed it instead of throwing it away, or I called my friends to come pick it up. And then the other stuff, I would just eat cereal off the shelf, like no milk, just out of the bag, or a can of Chef Boyardee, but just like no microwave because I didn't have any power. So I wasn't like no food, like literally no food, but I had that. That was my lifestyle. And then when I got kicked out of that, I ended up having to like hustle for food. Like, I would, luckily, so I sold my car, and then, but prior to selling my car, I'd be like, hey, I'll give you a ride somewhere if like, give me, like, I charge you for gas or whatever. So I was basically Uber driving my friends around. Very rare was it somebody I didn't know, but be basically driving around and be like, oh yeah, I'll take you there for $10 or whatever. And so that's kind of how I put gas in my car, but then also got food. And because I didn't know when the next time I was going to have that, I would literally be eating from a dollar menu or value menu items back when there was a dollar menu. I had a lot of 2 for 99 cent tacos back when they were that, and a lot of like McDonald's 99 cent McDoubles, stuff like that. Maybe 2 or 3 of those a day to get to about $3. So that was a long way of me saying, so it was inside of my fury. And so I had to ask myself the question. So here he is, and he's feeling like good people are hard to find. He's losing steam, depressed. So feel into it. Like, if you have a similar problem or just a problem in general, and the response from you, even say in relationship, could even be the same thing. Your response isn't appropriate for whatever the aggravation is. It's going to be something from like base like survival level instinct. So for me, it was I'm going to be homeless again, and it was fear. It was um, also anger at like previous partners, whether it's business partners or lovers. Like you are screwing me over. Now that's not really the true one. They made, let's say like today they made the olive tapenade wrong, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so like I wanted to flip tables. I wanted to, but it's not their fault. I mean, even though it was their fault that they made it wrong, but that's not an appropriate response for me to be like, I'm gonna fire everybody in the kitchen if it's made wrong one more time. And asking myself that, so I knew, okay, I'm fearful of being homeless again. So knowing that that's where the space of it coming from, you can just work on that. Like, what are you afraid of? You're only afraid. I'm only afraid of that if I didn't feel like I had the capacity to re-earn the money. Even though I know for sure if Ike's went out of business tomorrow, I'm confident that I could. It would suck, and I'd probably have to sell my house and sell my car and all that stuff, and it would suck. But likely, I'm not going to be living on $100 a day in food or $100 a month in food, and likely somebody would give me a chance, and I could open up a new business, or if I just scrapped up and saved some money and opened up my next restaurant, it would probably do way well faster than somebody else did. So from that standpoint, I'm not at the same fear level, but my mind is reacting at that same fear level. So where is that for you? In anything, even in relationships, you're upset with your partner. Like I normally would get upset with a lover and be like, "That's it, I'm never going to talk to her again." But that's like not appropriate for if they didn't text me for 3 days. Or maybe it is, who knows? But it's not like it's not that a huge of a thing. But for me, it was, oh well, I better reject them before they reject me, kind of thing. So totally different, like base level feeling, like oh I'm not lovable or screw them, they're gonna ditch me, kind of thing. So it's always better for you to pay attention to your own feelings and how you feel. When I go into the food and philosophy round, actually was writing about this specific topic, about how it makes you feel. Like, what are your feelings? That dictates everything. So he thinks that he can hate to find good people. Ha! Everybody that has their own business, every single person that has their own business, if you walked in product placement, if you walked in on yourself, if there was two of you and you walked in on yourself working, you would probably get pissed off at yourself too. You know that you slack. You know you're never giving 100% of the effort 100% at a time. Doesn't mean you're not better or you're not doing a good job, but you know for a fact if you walked in on yourself, you'd be like, God damn it, Ike, what are you doing? You're just texting on your phone instead of, fill in the blank. So that was a thing that I learned when I had one Ike's, where I was like, oh, yes, if I'm being honest with myself, I would run in the store and cuss myself out too if there was two of me. So from that frame of mind, for me, it was like, well, it's hard to find good people who care as much as I do. But that includes me. I don't care as much as I do 100% of the time. Now, the goal is to be so fulfilled and so inspired that you continuously do that all the time. So what I found is wherever it was that I wasn't doing the things that I would come in and yell at myself about is, well, you better delegate those out by paying people to do it for you, or you have to link it to what it is that you love to do. And if you have to do that with yourself, you're going to have to do that with your staff. So it isn't that you can't find good people or enough good people. It's we aren't making what we want link to their values, or finding somebody that already loves to whatever market, clean the dishes. Every task there's somebody that loves to do it. So ask those questions, and if you can't, then link it to it. That's why back when Ike's had our like mission statement or whatever you want to call it, wasn't mission statements weren't even a thing. So ours wasn't called the mission statement. It just said I wish I remembered what it says. It's probably on the bag somewhere here, and that part's not important. The part is that I was doing that, being that, and then only accepting that as a response from other people, and then having them go on the back because his love, appreciation, and appreciation and respect. So I looked up what of these three vibe with you the most, and they can read about each one, what it means to me, and they'll go, I like love, or I like appreciation, or I like respect, and you just filter all that the teaching for that one person through that value that you have. And we have seven total, or yeah, seven total values. You don't have to have that many, but whatever's true for you, and then just continuously give that to them, and you'll always have great employees. And the ones that aren't great will just fire themselves. As much as that pains probably Tanner to hear, like freaking step your game up and link your values to them, or have them link their values to your pizza shop. That's the only way to ever have great people. And in fact, we never have great people. We always have people that are so aligned with what we want that we think that they're great. In the moment that they don't, like he fired his right hand man. I don't know what he did. He didn't say what he did here. Maybe he deserved it. Maybe he didn't. But he was his right hand man for a reason. So obviously he was in his values until he wasn't. Uh, so yes, yeah. I'm kind of not understanding your question. So just can you say it? So is it when to hire more people? Is that the question, or when did I know? Okay, so when how did I know when to hire people? Mine. So when I first hired people, I was less than 3 months in and not making any money the business wise. How I learned when I should hire people was again through trial and error, but where I would work from basically the whole day. I was the only one that worked there, and I would have to go in and chop the tomatoes or slice the tomatoes, chop the lettuce, slice the roast beef, turkey, salami, everything, right? Clean the bathrooms, clean the lobby, uh, all everything. And then I'd be tired. I'd go to bed. Or I remember one time I fell asleep at Ike's after like making 150 bucks, not profit, but like gross. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna lie down. It's been a week and 2 weeks. Lie down on the table. Then I woke up. It was like 5 in the morning, and the dishes were still piled up in the sink. I didn't do any tomatoes yet. Like basically, I hadn't even. It was like we closed, and then I put my head down, and 5 hours later or whatever, I woke up and like, oh shit, I got to do literally everything. And I was like, man, this is like that was a terrible day for me. I wouldn't say it was like top five worst days of my life, but I hated hikes at that time. Like that day, I was like, fuck this. What did I do? Like pretty much that exact my own business. And I saw in that moment that I just need to get somebody to do the dishes and cut the tomatoes and the lettuce and all that stuff. So this way I don't have to do it, but not because I'm lazy, but because, dude, it like literally ruined my life. Working all day and then be like, fuck, here's dishes that I don't like to do, and here's tomatoes that I sucked at slicing tomatoes and chopping them. Like I probably still suck at that now. So immediately I started looking for somebody. And this is just 2 months in. No, I'm not making money, maybe less than 2 months even. But what I noticed is once I did end up hiring, my friend's girlfriend's sister was looking for work. And I just tell her, come in at 6 p.m. and just do the dishes. I'll give you a prep list. And she does that. And then we basically close. She'd sweep and mop, do the bathrooms, do all that stuff. And then we would go. And I would started getting off 2 hours early at night, which was 2 hours extra sleep at night. I started not having to worry about it. And when I was looking at what I was doing last, I saw that, oh, I should just get somebody to do that. Even though I couldn't, like at the time, I paid her, and that meant I was going to make $0. But I was getting $0, maybe even losing money on some days because I had her come in. But what I got out of it was 2 extra hours. But what I got out of it was not being pissed off, not doing something I didn't like. So while and previous to hiring her, even though I didn't have to pay for it with cash, I had to pay for it with attitude or resilience, or I had to pay for it with willpower. I had to pay for it with anger and pissed off. Like I had to pay for it. So we always pay for it. We learn. I learned every action. There's the equal and opposite reaction, and then there's the laws of thermodynamics. Now, unfortunately, when I was a kid, even though I heard for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. They don't tell us what that means. So what that means is if you do something, you don't, then something else happens. The law of compensation states that we never lose and we never gain. Anytime you think that you've gained, you actually are losing somewhere that you don't see. And anytime you think you're gaining or losing, you're actually gaining somewhere. Now, I didn't know about any of those things, but I was able to feel it. This is why we're talking about feeling. I was able to feel that, oh, wow, I feel better now that I don't have to do the dishes. And back then, I think minimum wage is $8 an hour. So I was paying her roughly $40 a night. And our sales were like 150 or sometimes 220. I'm like, where's the $40 was literally just the money's coming in, I'm giving it to her. But I felt better. So then as time went on, I felt better. I had more sleep. I was more motivated. I wasn't ever deflated at the business once I started just delegating every single thing out. So you have to ask yourself, do you want to get paid that money and do stuff that you don't want? And the answer might be, actually, I kind of do. Well, then the other way. So either you delegate everything, and then you'll win because you'll have less stress, less doing things that you don't want, maybe more sleep, maybe more time for your family, whatever it is, time for your hobbies. Or you have to link the things that I hated doing, like chopping the tomatoes. I hated chopping the tomatoes. Like, ask me to chop a tomato right now, and like, I don't know. I'm probably allergic to tomatoes now that I hate them. I hate chopping them so much. Or I have to link cutting the tomatoes perfectly every single time without attitude to what it is that I do value. Okay, if I chop the tomatoes, or I make this sauce, or I make the olive tapenade thing that they messed up on earlier today, if I do that, then it's going to be amazing, and then somebody's going to eat my sandwich, and they're going to think that I'm amazing, and then I'm going to make money off of that, or I'm going to win awards or whatever. But I got to speak to myself in my own values. So whatever that is for you. So there's two ways to do it. That's a long way of me saying it's up to you to decide. Do you want to pay for it, or do you want to pay for it? Because you're going to pay for it either way. And actually, I lived it. So I didn't actually pay him. I tracked my hours because you always got to pay yourself first. So I tracked myself, and about 2 years and 8 months in, I we finally were making good money, and I paid myself for 2 years and 8 hours, and I mean, sorry, 2 years and 8 months worth of work. And I wrote myself a fat check for like, I don't know, 100 something thousand, cashed it. When I realized, oh wait, we actually have money now. So even though the business didn't pay me that back then, it did pay me retroactively for the hours that I worked. And it's probably not a coincidence that I was able to be motivated, inspired, wake up, pass out sandwiches, create new sandwiches, because I didn't have payroll logging me down, or the schedule, or tomatoes and lettuce. And the thing is, it's not about the task. It's not if it's a low level task or not. Because today the staff knows I love stocking the drink fridge. I love stocking the drink fridge, and so they're like, "Shit, I guess here we better let him stock the drink fridge." So it isn't about the task, how low or high level it is. It's about how you like the task or you don't like the task. They know I will come in here and I'll get more mad at them for doing the drinks than say chopping the tomatoes wrong, because I want to do the drinks, because it's like you're robbing me of my thing. So whatever those things are, you already know what you like to do in your business. You already know what you don't like to do in your business. So just do what you want to do only, and I'll talk about that later in the next part, or pay people to do all those things. What else you got? Ask away. Yeah, well, so not, and not just that. There's parents. There's right. There's all. There's probably, if you got kids, which I don't have experience of, but if you have kids, you have to like, oh, you weren't there for this and that. So when dealing with a person that you're in relationship with, I'll talk about specifically about like a spouse or intimate partner, because it's probably one that a lot of people can relate to. And then the same thing for them, you could apply to kids. You can apply to your dad or your brother or whoever. That's putting stuff in. So anytime somebody is judging you, judging me, anytime somebody else is going, oh, hey, why are you not fill in the blank? You're not there for me. You're not there for the kids. You're not there for the family because you're busy doing something else. That's them saying that they don't value what you're valuing in the moment. Now, the opposite is true too. If they're saying that to you, or you're going, oh, how can I get them to understand? In that moment, we're also not valuing, we're not putting a high priority on whatever it is that they're valuing. So from that standpoint, you could totally understand, oh, they're not valuing what I want. At the same exact time, you're not valuing what they want. And because we have our own internal experience, that we can kind of relate to them in that way. Like, I'm not feeling that. So just notice what your feelings are. Notice how you're feeling that that they're not respecting, say, the entrepreneurial spirit, etc. And when dealing with anyone, especially intimate partner, which you're like legally obligated to be around, but you actually care about them too, right? So is that you've got to make it, same thing how I talked about on the back of our bags where we had our values. You got to see what their values are and link their values to the business, or link their values to what you're valuing. So an example of this is like how I would do it now is when dating somebody, or I'm going to use my, yeah, when I'm dating somebody and they go, oh, you don't have time for me, or you're always traveling, or I had one gal who I would go out and then I get recognized, especially in the beginning of myself getting famous, and I get recognized. So I'd be out to eat, and the server would be like, "Oh, can I get a photo?" And sometimes other people would come up and can I get a photo? And she would just get like, "What the fuck? Like, you're spending time with me, and I still have to share you with other people." So how I reframed that for her specifically, her gifts were one of her love languages. So I'm like, oh, she values gifts. I let her know, hey, like, it's cool. In fact, the more people that come up to me, that means the more successful I am. That means the more times I can take you on this trip or a restaurant. And so I started to speak into her in her language, her values. So now, even though she'd be like, "Oh man, here's the waitress is flirting with Ike again," she's like, "Oh, cool. Well, that's good. That means Ike says, I can afford to give her more things and that was just because that was her love language. I had um, dated another gal, and her love language was acts of service. So what happened is when we were getting attention often, then it started turning into, oh, I'm going to send you out a dessert. And I started noticing that, oh, well, people like to give us stuff when we go out too. And even now. So I'm like, okay, I know that this gal really loves creme brulee. I just start conversing with the person that was like asking me if they work there, and they're kind of taking attention from her. I'd just say, "Oh, hey, how's your creme brulee? I really do like that." And they'll say, "Oh my god, it's really great. I'm just gonna send one out for you." So I'm like, "Look, I got you a free creme brulee," kind of thing. So it's whatever it is, and that's just one example. So you likely know your partners really well enough to know. And I mean, I don't want to say that because I know that if you ask me what's so and so's favorite color, I'd be like, I have freaking no clue. So it's because I have relationships, unfortunately, lower on my values list, but I do know how their love languages are. So you know enough about all the loved ones in your life that you're able to communicate them with them at least in a little bit. And if you don't, then hey, this is an opportunity for you to, oh, actually, let me find out what's important for them. And you can just do this easily by asking, hey, what are your love languages? Or kind of ask them, hey, I'm sorry, I forgot your favorite color. Let me write down your favorite color this time, and I'll remember it for always. And they'd be like, oh my god, you actually care this time, even after they might get mad in the beginning. So just focus on what it is that is in their values, and then filter it through your values. And then the other way around, whatever it is that's valuable to you, show them how that being valuable to you is actually valuable to them too. It's easier said than done, but it's not terribly difficult, and you'll be able to do it with lots of practice, especially if you continuously date the same person, or you have the same kids, or if your dad's always the same, or whatever. Like you'll be able to continuously, and in fact, they'll start going. What started happening is they'd say something, and I'd be like, "Oh, but," and they'd be like, "That's right, I know," and then they kind of like already know it, even though they're still gonna naturally be like, "What's going on?" right away. Yeah, and just keep doing that over time, and if they actually do care about you, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's totally true. And yeah, that's high on your value, always doing something. Some people, so I'll give you another example, right? I'm pretty freaking successful. One of my, I, I, I want to be a pro video gamer. In fact, I'm pretty damn good at it. And so much so that I ended up investing in a video game league, the Global Gaming League, which is the only worldwide gaming league for all the video games that you've heard of, like, and literally every game. So I play video games, and people are like, "Why the hell are you playing video games?" It's like it's my freaking business. Like, I do make money playing video games. Definitely not even enough to pay for like maybe more than one dinner. But that's not the point. The point is, it is valuable to me. So people are asking me, "Why am I doing this?" And it's the same thing. Like if I was a millionaire gaming person, nobody would ask me why am I gaming, right? But because I'm not, they make it mean that I'm lazy or I could be doing more. Or I should be spending time with them instead. And so in that same way, it's not really relevant what's important to you to other people, because it's going to be the same thing whether it's reading books of like, why are you always reading books instead of hanging out with me? It's not really, it's because if you're not matching up with them what they value, then it's not the same thing. So when I'm playing video games and streaming and stuff like that, how I frame it depends on the person's, each person's different, is, hey, I'm really stressed out right now and it's going to unstress me, so I'll be able to like love you and not yet, and all these things that I know that she wants. So same thing for you and whatever it is that you're doing, whether that's the work or the hobby, and then it allows you to see what they're doing too. And it's something like, why the hell are you just sitting down and whatever, right? Then you get to also understand them too, and then you can speak from that space of understanding. Yeah, like now-ish time. But I am also going to go into the food and philosophy thing, so you could stay on and hear that. And if you have any questions, you totally can answer more questions or ask more questions. Unless if you have another question right now, I can answer it if you already have one. So it's all good. I can start this, and then Alec, did you have any questions? Okay, cool, cool. All right, thanks, Alec. All right, so Mike, yeah, feel free to stay, drop off anytime you want, because I'm gonna record this part anyway. So I'm gonna go into the opening sequence, because it's episode 57. What is up, guys? Episode 57, food and philosophy. I got my guy Steven Pressfield right here, The War of Art. It was pissing me off reading my notes from this next couple of chapters. So if you're following at home, it's page 65. What a writer's day feels like. I wake up with a gnawing sensation of dissatisfaction. Already I feel fear. Already the loved ones around me are starting to fade. I interact, I'm present, but I'm not. I'm not thinking about the work. I've already consigned that to the muse. What I'm aware of is resistance. I feel it in my guts. I afford it the utmost respect, because I know it can defeat me on any given day as easily as the need for a drink can overcome an alcoholic. I go through the chores, the correspondence, the obligations of daily life. Again, I'm there, but not really. The clock is running in my head. I know I can indulge in daily crap for a little while, but I must cut it off when the bell rings. I'm keenly aware of the principle of priority, which states A, you must know the difference between what is urgent and what is important, and B, you must do what's important first. What's important is the work. What's up, Nora? That's the game I have to suit up for. What's important is the work. That's the field on which I have to leave everything I've got. Do I really believe that my work is crucial to the planet's survival? Of course not. But it's important to me as catching that mouse is to the hawk, circling outside my window. He's hungry. He needs a kill. So do I. I'm done with my chores now. It's time. I say my prayer and head out on the hunt. The sun isn't up yet. It's cold. The fields are sopping. Brambles scratch my ankles. Branches snap back in my face. The hill is a son of a bitch, but what can you do? Set one foot in front of the other and keep climbing. An hour passes. I'm warmer now. The pace has got my blood going. The years have taught me one skill: how to be miserable. I know to shut up and keep humping. This is a great asset because it's human, the proper role for a mortal. It does not offend the gods, but elicits their intercession. My bitching self is receding now. The instincts are taking over. Another hour passes. I turn the corner of a thicket, and there he is, the nice fat hair I knew would show up if I just kept plugging. Home from the kill, I thank the immortals and offer up their portion of the kill. They brought it to me. They deserve their share. I'm grateful. I joke with my kids besides the fire. They're happy. The old man has brought home the bacon. The old lady's happy. She's cooking it up. I'm happy. I've earned my keep on the planet, at least for this day. Resistance is not a factor now. I don't think of the hunt, and I don't think of the office. The tensions drains me from neck and back. What I feel and say and do this night will not be coming from any disowned or unresolved part of me. Any part corrupted by resistance. I go to sleep content, but my final thought is of resistance. I will wake up with it tomorrow. Already, I'm stealing myself. What a writer's day feels like, according to Steven Pressfield. Oh, and I totally forgot. Guys, I'm not eating today on Food and Philosophy because I am fasting, doing a 24-hour fast. So no food on this Food and Philosophy. I promise next time I will feed on things. What are most important things to you in your daily life? Look at your daily life. What's important to you? Could be something as simple as it's important to you to brush your teeth twice. It could be important to you that you need to take a shower. It doesn't matter how small or how large the things are. So, what are the most important things to you in your daily life? And then spread that out to what's most important to you in your monthly life, like things you're going to do every single month. And then every quarter, like what's really important you do every quarter. How about every year? And so forth and so forth. Look at what are the most important things in your life. We'll numb it down to just the daily life again, but keeping all this out because you know what your priorities are today. You know what your priorities are this month, this quarter, this year, this decade, this all those things. So, what are your priorities? And then, what are your priorities that have been actually true for you? Like, not just what's a priority for you, but what's a priority for you, and then you also actually do it. Because we all say, oh, it's priority for me to eat healthy, but then sometimes I don't. Maybe sometimes you don't know it's important for me to it's a priority to work out, but then you don't work out. So it's only you look at what are your priorities that are actually true for you. How do you know it's true? Because you do them. Regarding those things that you aren't actually a priority for you based on results, where do you put these things off for the other things that just pop up during the day, like between what's urgent and what's important? Things come up and you're like, oh, I'm just going to jump on my phone real quick, or whatever that version of things are for you. What is that? What do you gain when you distract yourself with low priority, urgent things, versus what it is that you want or whatever it is that's actually important to you? Look at your life now, look at your daily tasks. Just look at today, if it showed up for you today or yesterday. For sure, in the last couple of days, you've done something that was urgent over what is actually you say is important to you. So, what do you gain when you do that? And what do you gain when you do the important things? Like, look at the things that you do and then you get when you're doing the important things. And then what do you lose when you don't do the important things? And what do you lose when you do the things that are urgent instead of doing the important things? What do you lose? Reflecting on these, that means look at what's important to you. Likely if you did this or if you do it later, you'll see that, oh, doing the important things, even if the urgent things are damn urgent, Doing the important things likely make you feel better, get you to feel more accomplished and more creative. You are moving towards your goals. You have better self-concept. You have better self-worth. So look at the things that are important to you. Like I was speaking earlier today with the Food and Founders group is what is distracting you from only doing these things that are important, that you love, that you want to? Is it money? Oh, I don't have enough money to do it. Oh, is it you need to have a sense of self-control? What are those things? Because if you only did what's important to you, only did what you care about, only did whatever you love, only did what's high priority for you only, if you only did that, how different could your life look? In fact, your life would probably transform because you're going to be a genius in those areas. So look at which things that you do in your life now, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, that when you do them and you succeed at them, so there you go, you do it, you succeeded, it builds you up and it turns you into a feeling like you're a hero, feeling like you're accomplished. And sometimes it might actually make you a superhero, like me with sandwiches now. So look at those things. I'm going to say that again. So which things, when you do them and you succeed at them, actually build you up and make you feel like you're accomplished, make you feel like you're a hero. And then thus you'll have results too. Because there's lots of things. The reason why I ask you to distinguish between what builds you up is there's lots of things that I do and I'm successful at. Like I brush my teeth twice a day, I clean myself, I take a shower, do these things. There's a bunch of things that I do and I'm quote successful at, but it doesn't inspire me. It doesn't build me up. Like I brush my teeth because I want to have my teeth and I want to not have that bad breath. But I don't brush my teeth going, success, even though, it was a success. And I did a damn fine job flossing this morning and things like that. So but what other things that you do that when you're successful don't build you up, just don't make you feel accomplished versus the ones that make you actually build you up? If you look at the ones that build you up and make you feel accomplished, and make you feel like you're a superhero, like when I do 100 push-ups in a row, I hate it. I hate doing it. But when I'm done, I'm always like, oh, that's right. I'm literally Superman. I don't know many people that can do 100 push-ups in a row, but I literally feel like I'm Superman. So I'm going to do that more often. In fact, even though I hate doing the push-ups, I do it because I get tremendous results internal from doing it. And then on top of that, my chest looks good and my arms are strong and things like that. But I do it more because it makes me feel like a superhero. Like literally, I feel like I'm a superhero. In fact, if I just, I'm at Ike's right now, if I just dropped down and did 100 push-ups in front of like 7 people here, they'd probably be like, oh my God, is Ike in a suit doing 100 push-ups? And they would probably even think I'm a Superman or a superhero. So look at those things and continuously do those things. What's stopping you from doing those things that when you accomplish make you feel like a superhero? If you're looking to enrich your life, here, Steven with writing, me with sandwiches, me with speaking, me with other things, you with whatever it is that's important to you. So look in which ways are you able to be consistent and what does this say? And relentless with doing these things. Like you're not only consistent with it, you're on top of it. If you don't do it, you do it. I remember I was doing I'm going to work out every single day I wanted to do it for a year and then I did it and then I wanted to do it for 2 years, and which I ended up doing it. But I remember I'd be in bed. I'm like, oh shit. And I jump out of bed and going, I didn't do it yet. So I jumped out of bed and then I worked out. Then I took a shower and then I went back to bed because I was relentless I was like, I'm not going to go 700 days and miss like doing it for 2 years straight. So no, I'm going to get out of bed right now. But I was relentless about that. So where are you able to be consistent, relentless easily for you? Especially when it comes to these things that make you feel like a superhero. Where have you been able to do this no matter what? Like look at your life right now. It could be your kids. It could be your job. It could be eating. It could be traveling. There's so many value things for you. So within your values, where are you able to do that? This is where you should build your life in these areas, because it's going to be easy for you to be a superhero here. It's gonna be easy for you because if you're already relentless and you're already consistent here, and then it makes you feel like a superhero. So you're gonna just keep building and you're gonna keep going up and up and up and up. Like this is a really easy life hack to do. If you could do this consistently and only work here, then that's where you go. That's like if you look at sports players, like especially say football, like the wide receiver is really good at catching passes. So he only plays wide receiver. He doesn't go, oh, now sometimes you might have to block and sometimes there's an interception. You might really have to tackle, right? But outside of those, like, oh my God, I have to do it right now. What the wide receiver does is he goes out there and he freaking catches passes and runs routes and runs over people or runs past people. And that's literally what he does. And then in those areas, like literally, we probably think a lot of professional athletes are superheroes to us. Could be any other type of thing. It doesn't have to just be to sports, but where is that? So build your life there in this space. Now he talks about being miserable. Be sure that any time in your life where you're being miserable or you feel miserable, be okay with that. Knowing that any of this quote misery is a sign or it's on the way towards what you would want. Think of it like a toll. You cross the bridge and you got to pay, or you got a toll road and you got to pay, or you got to work out to get ripped or have a better body. This is the toll. You're miserable, so to speak, and you're moving through the spots where you would move through that maybe somebody else would just quit on. If you knew that the universe or God or Mother Nature or whatever you want to call the grand organizing design of the world, the law of least resistance, like just Mother Nature just moves in that. How is that? How does it even know? If you just knew that this thing, the universe, God, whatever, brings inspiration to the places that it's needed, or inspiration towards whatever it is for you specifically that inspires you, which is different than what inspires me. If you know that that was put there in purpose, why wouldn't you just stay there? Like have a little hack. You know where you're inspired. You know where you feel good. You know what makes you do things, and then you don't judge yourself later and you feel like a superhero. Why would you ever do anything different than that? If you knew you did X and you would feel like a superhero, feel like a superhero 24/7. People often ask me, hey, Hike, how do you show up to work? Like, I'm going to be here till Mardi Gras, and I'm flying literally at a 5 a.m. flight so I can get to so I can get to LA, so I can deliver sandwiches to a celebrity that I want to meet. Like, damn, Mike, you're going to be crazy. You're going to do a whole Mardi Gras week and probably stay up late on Mardi Gras day and then get on a flight and go do it. How do you do it? And I thought, well, I'm going to sleep on the plane, so I'll get 5 hours or whatever. Hopefully they freaking stop talking on the thing. Like, just shut the hell up, pilot. I don't care. Tell me when we land. But for me, it's because it's my freaking superpower. I'm gonna be here, and then people can be like, I love your food. Oh my God, you're amazing. Like, why would I want to ever take a day off from that? And then I'm gonna get to go meet a celebrity that I really want to meet. You'll see it you'll see it. So it'll be out there. But I'm not gonna name drop right now. And so, but they're gonna tell me how amazing I'm. Yeah, I'll get on a freaking flight so A-list celebrity can tell me that I'm the fucking man. Like, that's not even like, not even a question for me. Do I remember being your Valentine 2 years ago? I can't see your pic. Send me a DM. So it's easy for me to do that. I'll show up to work every single freaking day that I'm even close to an ice. So again, if you only live in this place where you feel inspired, why would you ever stop doing that? Because if what you were Michael, with I think it's still here, was chatting about doing the work, or maybe getting employees or not, or having a misvalued space with his loved ones. It's like, if you're going to do these things in spite of, oh, should you get help, or you're loved ones are kind of in different value systems, and it's tough work, and you're showing up every single day, like whatever. There's 1,000 different things from the universe, and you don't quit. That's a sign to you to keep going. You would have already quit. It wouldn't even be important. You'd be like, show up, and the money's not there. The people are getting on your case, and you would literally just quit. So this is how you know it's your space. You would have quit. You wouldn't even be here. You wouldn't even be asking questions. Should I be doing this? You would have already quit. Use that as a sign. So look at the things. It seems like you are being rewarded when you continuously put yourself through this and you continuously move forward. It seems like you're being rewarded, but it's simply just the booty at the end of a treasure map. That's all it is. You're following the map of misery or doing the work or being inspired and just moving forward and not quitting. And your reward is, holy crap, look at this money at the end, or look at the success at the end, or look at my inspiration at the end, or the business at the end, or whatever it is that you get. And it looks like you're being rewarded for working hard, but what it really is you're just moving through, and then you get it because you're giving of your inspiration, you're giving of your love, and that people are just like, here, take my freaking money. Like, I'm famous from selling sandwiches. If this isn't bona fide like proof that this stuff works, I sell freaking sandwiches. Product placement, like my face is on things, and people are like, oh my god, is that you? It's magic. It works on anything. I sell freaking sandwiches. I'm probably going to die and go down in history as the most famous sandwich person ever. Sorry, Jimmy and Mike. And I got a question here. I'm going to finish right here and I'll get to your question, all right, Jimmy? So where was I? Okay. So moving through this space, moving through where you feel inspired in your superpower, this is where you're the most brilliant. This is where you're the most creative version of you. There's no more creative, no better, more brilliant version of any human being other than them on this path where they're doing things and they feel like they're accomplished and they feel like they're a superhero, and it's within their values. I personally believe it's where it's like what God or the universe actually is that inspirational feelings. Actually, you're just moving in accordance with that feeling. Same with love. Only genius lives here. Like, or I said that the wrong way. Genius can only live here. Genius can only live there. So the only way to transcend what might stop you from this, whether that's guilt or shame, or oh, how come these people don't have this, and how we usually martyr ourselves through the suffering obligation of love. The only way to transcend the feelings of guilt or shame is through our inspiration, is through this space, is through our genius, is through our brilliance and our creativity. Because when we do this work on this path, the path that's for you, different for me, different for you, moving towards our dreams, we get the superpowers that we feel. We feel inspired, and we also get the superpower to transcend guilt and shame for a while when we're doing that, because we never feel bad when we're doing these things. It's only later when somebody says, "Oh, well, you didn't see this person, or you didn't give me a kiss, or you're successful and you're a communist or you're a capitalist asshole now, or whatever." But in the moment, in us doing it, we would never feel guilt and we never feel shame. That's, and that'll be it for that. I got a question. I'll do the question because we're right around the time where I gotta go do some other stuff. So the question is, how do you know when it's time to take a break? And what does relaxing look like to you since you're so driven? All right, who's this? Jimmy Miller. Jimmy, what do you mean by when it's time to take a break? So maybe you missed the part where, so for me, so this is my life. I wake up, I work out, I look through my phone if there's something urgent or somebody I really want to connect with, like I'll do that. And then I'll go shower and shave like every other day or whatever that my shower every day, shave every other day ish. and then get dressed. Maybe if there's like a task I have at home, like my room's pretty freaking messy because I just moved there. I'm like, all right, I need to put away 5 things and unpack 5 things, and then I can go. And then I go directly to a store. If you're in New Orleans or if I'm somewhere else, directly to a store there, and I go to the store, and then I just do that 7 days a week. And the only reason why I don't do it is if I'm on a plane flying to go do another event. And so for me, so the ultimate question ends up being, how do I prevent burnout? So for me, if you're like, hey, Ike, you're going to wake up, you're going to do the working out, which I actually like. And I already explained how I love feeling like I feel like a literal superhero doing 100 push-ups in a row. Like I feel like the most masculine superhero version of myself. Well, after I do it, even though I freaking hate doing it, but I love the feeling of doing it and the accomplishment afterwards. And then I'm gonna go to my store, and like every single, well, 95 out of 100 people are gonna tell me how amazing I am, and 25% of those people are going to want to take a photo with me, and if some people are going to flirt with me, some people are going to offer me money, and like if you go, hey Ike, you're going to go to work and everybody's going to tell me how amazing I am all the time, why would I ever stop going to work? So for me, I don't have burnout. I only have burnout when I do things that I don't want to do. So there's 2 ways to not do what you want, to not do what you don't want to do. One is by paying other people to do it. So I'm here and I don't have to chop the tomatoes and chop the lettuce and clean the bathrooms, and I only do what I want to do when I'm here. Probably I only do what I want to do at all the stores when I'm there. I go around and serve the tables here and that stuff. So delegating everything. So either paying other people to do things through delegation, or if you're like, well, I can't really delegate, say, brushing my teeth, which I don't really like doing, but I do it anyway, then you have to link the thing that you don't like to what it is that you do inspire. So for me, like, I hate doing the push-ups, but I really like the feeling. I hate brushing my teeth, but I really want to have my teeth because I love to eat. So I link the not liking of the push-ups, and especially 100, and then the linking of them not liking to brush my teeth or whatever it is to what it is that I actually value. And then because I link it, then I'm inspired to do those things, even though the things themselves aren't inspiring. Like when I was working out this morning, I freaking hate working. I hate doing the push-ups. Like just even thinking about it pisses me off. But I go, oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna feel really good afterwards, and during it, I'm gonna like do my meditation and think about the world and and get great ideas when I'm working out. Like because my body is like so tired that my mind gets the chatter goes away, because like, oh my god, like I run 40 push-ups, then the next 60 are all tough. So the way to prevent burnout is to not do anything that you don't want to do, or to link it to what you love. And that'll be my last question today. So, when you get what you like, great. And when you don't get what you want, even better. Your well-being is your greatest contribution to humanity. No exceptions ever. Love you guys. Appreciate you too, Jimmy. I appreciate you. Thanks for the love. Catch you guys later. Absolutely. Stop. Oh, got one more here. So many recordings. How do I stop this?